Hi everyone, welcome to the WooCommerce Quick Start session, WooCommerce 101 today. Just a few notes before we get started. My name is Richard. Dustin's going to be presenting today, so he'll be walking through the WordPress.com interface, showing you some getting started WooCommerce things. Anyway, a few notes before we get started. We're recording the session today, and then we're going to share it after the webinar, so that will be on YouTube later. Also, there's a Q&A feature in Zoom. You should see it in the toolbar. You can type your questions there. We're going to answer a few of those live. So feel free to get all your questions in. You don't have to rush. You can just, as Dustin's presenting, you can type them in. If we don't get to your question, then you can reach us at wordpress.com/contact. That will be a form where you can fill out your question and chat with a happiness engineer. Also later today, you'll receive an email that will have the video, a survey, and a discount code for joining us today. So please check that out. And then finally, you can see all of the webinars, including this one and previous WooCommerce ones, as well as the other webinars that we're doing at wordpress.com/webinars. So that's all that I have for you right now. And here's Dustin. He's going to show you WooCommerce 101.
All right, thank you, Richard. Like you said, my name is Dustin, and I am coming to you from the great state of Ohio, and I'm excited to be here with you today, just showing you the ins and outs of WooCommerce. I'm a happiness engineer on the WooCommerce team, and so I get to help people every day set up and configure their stores. So we're just going to take a look at getting it set up. We only have 15-20 minutes, so we're not going to get into real in-depth things, but feel free to ask any type of question. Richard will be handling those, and we'll go ahead and get started. As you can see here, my screen is on one of my test sites, so no judging what my site looks like. It's a very basic, but the thing is we want to get started with WooCommerce. And so this is good for anyone that has the business plan. You can install plugins, and so that's the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the WooCommerce plugin. So we'll go down to our section under tools and go to plugins, and this will open up a new menu. And as that loads, it shows us all the plugins that are there. These are some of the most popular ones. It's got millions of active installs, but we need WooCommerce. So we'll type WooCommerce in there, and that will search for WooCommerce. And the first one right there, the one with 5 million active installs, that's the one that we want. We're going to go ahead and install that. It's one button to click to install, and then there'll be one button to click to activate, and it's all at the same place. Once it gets activated, it's going to go through, and we're going to walk through a little bit of a setup wizard. And so that's the next piece of the puzzle that we're going to work through as soon as the page refreshes here. And I'll just fill the dead air time with more talking with whatnot, but it should be activated here just momentarily, and then it'll walk through us the steps to get started. The quick start guide or the onboarding process starts right here, and it'll just kind of help you get up and running with the process of getting some of those main details into WooCommerce. So we'll click the yes please button to get started, and then we need to add our address. Our address is important because it does certain things, like it helps calculate taxes based on where your store is located. It also helps with shipping, to know where shipping information is coming from and whatnot. So it's good to put this in there. I'm not obviously going to put my real address in there, but 123 Main Street in Ohio is Dayton, and my postcode. And then you can, if you're setting this up for a client, you can put this there or whatnot. But we want to go ahead, and we won't, right now we're not going to send extra data to the WooCommerce Happiness Engineers, the WooCommerce team. But the next step is basically picking what type of store you're going to operate. Are you going to sell electronics or food and drink or home? And these are basically just trying to help guide us in the way of getting the right options set up. So we'll say that we will sell food and drink. A lot of people are trying to offer their store offerings for menus and whatnot online. So let's go ahead and we'll do that. And that won't necessarily be what we set up, but let's go ahead and do that. We want to ship physical products. So we're going to mail things. And we also, if you wanted to have downloadable options, you can do that too. So if you were selling maybe ebooks with a download, so somebody purchases and automatically gets a download, that's what the downloads tab would be for. And then a couple other options. These are all premium extensions that you can buy at WooCommerce.com, but subscriptions allows you to have products that renew regularly. So maybe a monthly subscription for something. Memberships is a way to restrict areas of your site. Maybe you have a membership site with a bunch of video tutorials once you have a member access membership or have a membership site, then they can access all of the things in there, and then they can only access it when they pay and they have an active account. Composite products is a good one if you wanted to make kits. So say you're selling a computer or a camera and you want to be able to buy individual pieces. Maybe for a camera, you would buy the body, and then you buy a lens, and you buy a case and things like that. And then bookings, if you wanted to have an online presence, maybe you are offering a lot of people use it for like yoga classes or gyms, or even like online coaching or something like that, and you can put the available hours that you're available, and then people can book and pick a time and whatnot. We're going to skip all of those things for right now, but just be aware that those are there. They are an additional cost because it does take developer time to get that set up and write that code. And then also with those subscriptions comes the ability to have chat with a happiness engineer to get them set up perfectly. And the next page talks about how many products you plan to display, 1 to 10. Maybe we'll do 11 or so. And then, are you currently selling elsewhere? So if this is your brand new store, you'll say no. If you have different stores, again, these are just settings that we can change all of these later, but it's just helping us to get started. I click no, and then if we want to, if we keep these boxes checked on, then we can market on Facebook and contact with customers with MailChimp and drive sales with Google Ads. All of these will install plugins that will help us with those. And so we're just going to say no for right now. And then choose a theme. This is the next section. So if you want to redo your entire site with a new theme, then that would be done here in this section. Most of the time though, you want to continue with your active theme. There won't be a theme for WooCommerce and a theme for your website. Like it's all one WordPress theme. And so we'll just continue with my active theme as storefront. So we'll go ahead and do there. There's an option within WooCommerce. It's called WooCommerce Services, and it allows you to set up automated taxes and print some shipping labels at home. We're not going to have time to cover that in this presentation today, but if you're interested in either one of those things, you can go ahead and check or say yes, please, and that'll add both of those features. But we'll go no thanks for right now. So there it is. We've went through the initial settings, the initial setup, and we are almost there. We're almost ready to go. Now you can see there's a bunch more things here on our WooCommerce dashboard for us to get up and running. So the first thing would be to add a product, and we'll do that. We'll see what that looks like. Then you can personalize your store. We'll probably not have time for this, but like to set up your, get your homepage set up with products and your logo and stuff like that. Then there's shipping, to set up shipping, taxes, and payments. And these will basically talk us through, and we'll work through just these very, very briefly. But basically, this is a way to get directly to the area that you need. So if you get lost or you need to get back to the screen, go to WooCommerce and dashboard, and then this will allow you to set that up. So we'll add our first product here. We can manually do it. We can import it. So if we had hundreds of products we wanted to import, you can use a CSV or a file that's pretty much formatted with like Excel, save that as a .csv file, and then you can upload that. But the big thing is we really want to just start with manually creating a product. So we'll do that. We're going to call, I think I have some images here for some sweatshirts. So we're going to call it a sweatshirt is going to be the product that we create. We can, there's some helpers that go through and tell us what each of these sections are. I'm just going to dismiss them for right now, and we'll talk about them in a little bit. This main visual area here is where you would put some product details. You can talk all about the product. You can say, this is an amazing sweatshirt, like you want this for, whatever. You put all of the details that you want to be seen, you want to put those right there. And then down here is considered the product data section. And this is where you would set up your product. And so if we just had one sweatshirt to sell, we would call it a simple product. We can put in a regular price. Maybe we'll do $25 as the price. If we wanted to put a sales price there, we could. We can also do a scheduled sale, so it will be on sale for a certain period of time. Then we can set inventory. We can put a SKU if we wanted to keep it in stock or manage stock. Like if we want to manage stock, then we could say we have X amount in quantity, and then every time one is purchased, like the quantity is subtracted, it's decremented to one previous, or if you had 10 and then you buy one, it's now down to 9. You can allow back orders and all that kind of thing. For our store, it's just going to be easy. We're going to keep the stock status to in stock. And then shipping, and this is a key part, and especially if you're using some sort of plugin, we have all kinds of plugins to automatically generate a cost, maybe with like USPS or UPS or FedEx, and all of those will take the information of, it needs to have a weight and it has to have dimensions. I also see here that I've got it's in kilograms and centimeters are the dimensions. And so in the product, in the WooCommerce product area, I need to go and change that to my default, which would be like pounds and inches because I'm here in the United States. A few other things here we'll talk through, but let's go ahead and just like see what this looks like. So we put all of our details about the product is all in this panel, but then if we want to add an image, we would have to add it over here to the add image. And so we'll go ahead and look in our media library and we will see that we've got this green sweatshirt here. We'll put the green one as our product, and then we can hit publish. I'll open up a new tab here, and we can see that what the product looks like is something like this. You can hover over it and you can see it a little bit bigger. You can add a couple to the cart if you want to. You can see there's no real text. I didn't put anything in the text. There's nothing in the description. And so that is all the information here. If I put a little filler text here, this is what like the full description. If we update that and then do a refresh over on our page, we can see where that text goes. It's gonna show up down here at the bottom at the description. If you wanna put a small little description up here around the price, that's going to fall in the short product description. And so you can use the visual editor, and so you can add HTML elements like bold and underline, and you can do links and whatnot in there. The other question that we get a lot is, how do we sell multiple of these sweatshirts? Say, for example, we wanna sell them in different colors, and we wanna sell them in different sizes. And that would be what's considered a variable product. So we'll go ahead and we'll convert this simple product to a variable product. And what happens is you have to define different attributes. And so an attribute, let's just go ahead and add an attribute here of size. So we'll call this size, and then we'll enter some sizes of like small. Oops. And then we have to put this pipe thing. It's called a pipe. It's above the enter key on your keyboard, but we do small, medium, and we'll just do large. And then we click this box here to be used for variations. And so we'll save that as an attribute. And then we also want to do color as another attribute. And so we'll use for variations. And I think I've got a green, and I think blue maybe. And I think I have an image that's red. So we'll call those that. So we set those as attributes. Each of those different things, it's kind of like a customization of that main product, are considered attributes. And then we go to the variation tab, and we will create variations from all attributes. And it's gonna ask me if you wanna do this, and of course we do, because that's what we're working on here. And it added 9 variations. So if you have 3 colors and 3 sizes, you can see we've got small green, small blue, small red. We've got medium green, blue, red, and we've got large green, blue, red. And then inside of each one of these is different, you know, all the settings there. So if you wanted to have a different weight for a different variation or whatnot, or a different price for different variations, maybe you had like an XXXL version that costs $2 more, you can change that in there. Now, one thing that I want to show, and I didn't learn this, I was in WooCommerce land helping users for like a year before I figured this out, but you can, up here at the top box here where it says add variation, you can basically go in, you can set regular prices. And so I'm going to set a regular price of $25, and that will add that to each one of these in the variation. So we'll do an update, and then we'll look at this really, really quick. So then we would choose an option. We can choose small, and we can choose blue. We can choose green or whatnot, and it will show the main image there, unless we go in and we, inside each variation, you can go and you can change it. You can upload a specific image for that variation. So this one would be green. The next one, if we wanted to choose, would be blue, and we could put a blue image there. Now, that's just a huge, very fast overview of how to create products. I do want to show just a little bit about some of the other settings in WooCommerce that need to be set up and configured. So we can go back over here. If we go to the dashboard, we can see, you know, the different things, but we do want to go in and we want to set up some shipping. Let's not use the quick start, but if we go into WooCommerce and then settings and then into shipping, I want to talk just a brief amount of time here about shipping and shipping zones. And this is really one of the most powerful things in WooCommerce, but it's really, it's kind of a complex thing to think about and to learn. So WooCommerce uses these things called shipping zones, and it basically gives you a geographical region to display different shipping rates. So if I wanted to, I could create a shipping zone for Dayton, and I could say, I could call out Dayton zip codes, and then anyone that's in the that is who is shipping or is purchasing from Dayton, they could see a local pickup or maybe a flat rate of like $3. But then if somebody, so that could be one region, and then the next region could be like the 5 states around Ohio, and then I could offer different shipping options for there if I wanted to say it's going to cost $8 to ship, like, or so you can. You can go from very, very basic small ranges to very large ranges. The easiest way is just to add a shipping zone. And you could say for all US, it's going to be $5 for shipping. And then you can add as many zones as you want, top to bottom. And how WooCommerce works is it's going to look for the top one, and it's going to try to match that zone. And then it's going to display any rates that are there. So if you want to offer free shipping and flat rate, you can do that. There's a free shipping option where you can, it's built into WooCommerce, and it will allow you to say, like, you can get free shipping if the amount in the cart is more than $50, or if it's more than $100, you can set that up. The other thing that I want to show in this section is under payments. And in order for the checkout process to work, you have to turn on a payment gateway. PayPal is built in by default, so you just put your PayPal email address in, and it's going to start working. And the other option that we have a lot of people use and really, really like is Stripe. It's a free plugin, and it allows you to do some really cool things. You can enable the Apple Pay button or the Google Payments button so that people can check out directly from a product page or whatnot. And so that's a free plugin. You would just go and you would go back to your plugin section, you install Stripe, you would sign up for a free Stripe account, and then you can get set up. But to check out things, we could basically turn on the check payment gateway. This one is a great way to, as you set up, to just test and see what the process looks like of checking out. So we're going to say that you can make your checks payable to, and you can put information on how to send this. But I guess before we test what the whole thing looks like, let's just add that US zone. So we'll say, we'll call it US zone, and then regions in this zone, and you can just start typing and they'll autocomplete. So United States. And then we will offer flat rate shipping and free shipping. So we'll add free shipping first, and then we will offer flat rate shipping. So as we can see, we'll edit each one of these. The flat rate shipping is going to be $10. And the cool part is you can do $10 per item. And so if you hover over this little box here, it says $10 per times, and then you put quantity in brackets. So it could be $10 per item, or you could do a small percentage or whatnot. We'll just keep it at $10 here. And then with free shipping, we are going to say free shipping requires a minimum order amount of $100. Whoops, 100. And then we save these changes. That should be good there. And then if we go and we put one of these in our cart, we should be able to view our cart. We'll put in that we still live in Ohio. Whoops, United States, Ohio, Dayton, and whoops, I didn't spell Dayton right. D-A-Y-T-O-N, and then 45458. And then we can update that, and it's going to look, and it's going to say, oh, we got a flat rate of $10. But if I put 5 of these in my cart, and then I update the cart, it's going to show that I have a free shipping option because I've spent more than $100. So that kind of in a nutshell is a very brief, very high overview of WooCommerce, setting up a product, setting up a shipping zone, and then setting up a payment gateway to do some testing. So if we, I guess one last thing, if we proceed to checkout, we would put in all of our billing information, and then it has a check payment. So it would place the order, it would put the order on hold until you physically receive that check in the mail. Then you can mark that order as processing or completed, and then you can ship the order to the customer. Obviously, that's not a big thing in this day and age, sending checks for buying something online, but it is a great way to test and see what the whole system looks like as you check out, what those new order emails look like, what the customer sees. And so it's a great way to test some things. And so with that, that's my overview of WooCommerce.
Great, thanks, Dustin. We got some questions that came in.
Okay.
Let's look at the first one here. There's a couple that are related. So I'm going to kind of read a few of them here, and then you can address them. So first, how do I customize the cart in my account page? Changing some text and design. Okay. Someone else wants to know Please do a session on child themes, when, if, and why they are necessary. And then another one also related to themes. Do I need to select a storefront theme that accommodates WooCommerce, or can I use my existing theme? And when should I change my theme? So all kind of around that topic.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, maybe I'll answer them in opposite order. So you don't necessarily need a quote unquote storefront theme. Most themes will work with WooCommerce. It basically, WooCommerce has, different colors set for like notifications and buttons and whatnot. And those styles will be picked up by your theme. So if your theme defines buttons as purple, like most likely this button would be purple instead of the storefront black. And so it's not necessary to switch themes out. I always recommend just keeping the theme that you have, install WooCommerce, and then start seeing what it looks like. You can customize with some CSS, and you can make some small changes just to change some of those visuals. Now, when would you need a child theme? And that kind of goes with the other question of like making customizations. Within WooCommerce, if you look at the plugin folder, and this is not really WooCommerce 101, but it is the ability to customize everything. And so there are template files stored in the WooCommerce plugin, and you can add those to a child theme. The best reason for putting a child theme, so like I have the storefront theme here, I could create a child theme of storefront. So anytime that storefront got updated, I'm not going to lose any of my changes. But basically what would happen was I'd create a child theme, and then I would put WooCommerce template files inside my child theme, and then I could customize them to my heart's content. So if I wanted to change the different text, from, or I guess my account page is a good example of like things that you could rearrange. If you wanted to rearrange these things, if you wanted to see orders, no orders there, or if you wanted to see, this different information, you could certainly do that and customize it with a child theme. Again, not quite WooCommerce 101 type stuff, but it's a good question. And the thing is with WooCommerce, it's one of the most customizable e-commerce solutions. So if you can think it up, like the code can be written in a way to make that happen. It just might not be, might take a lot of code sometimes, or you might need a developer to help with that.
Okay, great, thanks. Got another good one here. I'm an artist. I want to sell something that's already on my site in the portfolio section. Can I keep that as is and apply WooCommerce to portfolio items? How does that kind of work?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would still think that you'd want to create a product with that specific item. So you would go in and create a new product. You would use that image that's on your portfolio. And then probably what I would do in the description somewhere for the portfolio item would be like purchase, or make a purchase, or buy this from my store. And then you could create that into a product, or that could direct them to a product page. Or the other way is there's a neat way to do it. And I don't have this off the top of my head, but you could create a button that automatically adds a product to your cart. And so it's a link, something like, yourwebsite.com/product/ add to cart equals 123. And that 123 is the ID of the product. Again, a little bit more technical than like a one-on-one in WooCommerce, but then you could go right from the portfolio page. They could click a button and it would automatically add that product to the cart. I still kind of like redirecting them to the a product page, because then it shows the price properly. It shows some of those attributes. It shows that type of information. But either way, it could be done.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, great. Got another good one here, kind of related to payment gateways. There's a lot of plugins named Stripe. Is the one that we recommend Stripe for WooCommerce? So maybe we could talk about WooCommerce.com a little bit and those differences.
Yeah, for sure. So WooCommerce.com lists all of our extensions that we have, and you can search for the ones straight from there. If you're looking on the WordPress repository, so like for example, like I could just type Stripe from right here and see what pulls up, and it is going to show the Stripe plugin. You can download it right from here, or you can download it from the WordPress repository. If you do the free download, I think it's I'm not sure exactly the way that it downloads it, but you're basically looking for the author as WooCommerce. So I guess it's adding Stripe. This way it comes through my account within WooCommerce, or if we are at wordpress.org /plugins and we look for Stripe, we are looking for the one that is by WooCommerce right there. That's the one that's going to be the one that we recommend, and is the one that works well, and our developers have built that. So you can search for it there, or you can from the plugin section inside of inside here. You could search for WooCommerce, or you can search for Stripe and install it from there.
Okay, perfect. And then also related to that, can a person digitally pay by check? And is there a plugin for e-transfers? So there's a lot of different, payment gateways depending on the country that someone's in or whatnot, or the ones that they want to offer maybe with their local bank. Just talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, for sure. The one that we had installed here, or where I was showing you the, let's see. Let's go back into settings, into payments. There's one here that's kind of called bank transfer, and that one gives you the ability that you would go in and you can enable this, and then you would put your account details. So if you wanted somebody to wire money to you directly, or send it straight from your checking account, you would provide them this information, and that would show up on the thank you page. So somebody would come, they would check out, and then it says, thank you for your purchase. Now you can send your money this direction. I'm sure there's plugins out there for like transferring via Zelle, or some of those there's other things. Even if we haven't made it as a plugin developer, there's hundreds of payment gateways out there, and it all, like Richard says, they're different for different geographical locations. So like PayPal won't work in certain countries, or Stripe won't work in certain countries. It's all a matter of finding the payment gateways that will work in your country, and then doing a quick search to see if it works with WooCommerce or if there's a plugin available. So lots of different options. I just pointed out Stripe because it's a good one. PayPal is by far the easiest one to set up, and both of those have about the same fees. All payment gateways take a little bit of a fee. Right now, I think it's 2.9%. So if you sell, $100 worth of stuff, $2.90 is going to come out. And then Stripe has a 30 cents per transaction fee as well. So if it's $100, they take out the 30 cents, and then they take out the 2.9%. And so we don't take anything as WooCommerce. It's just the payment gateways. That's how they pay for the credit card processing fees or whatnot.
Okay, great. Yeah, I got another good one here related to selling and selling locations. So while you're on the back end there, maybe you can show this. Can you limit it to send to Canada only? So they might just want to only ship to Canada or only sell to Canada. Is there a way to do that?
There's a couple ways that you could handle this. In the general settings under WooCommerce settings general, you can set selling locations. So you can say that I only want to sell to specific countries, and then I can type in Canada. And so you can restrict it to Canada. You can also only ship to certain countries. So that's the same thing. Basically, you can set this up. So if you wanted to sell to everybody to have digital products, but you only wanted to ship to Canada, you could set that up there as well. And then you can restrict it in that way. And then you can also make sure that when you are doing, and I won't save these changes, but in the shipping zone, so there's a US zone, you could put a Canada zone, and then you could just not put any shipping options there. And then it will say there's no shipping options for your location. So that is a kind of a way around that. Now, those messages won't show up until somebody puts it, if you put it in the shipping zones area, it's not going to show up until somebody will go in, they'll add the product to the cart, then they'll add their address, and then it'll say it's not available to ship to your location. So that's one of the kind of the downfalls of doing it this way and putting with the shipping zones, but definitely they couldn't process and they couldn't get through the checkout process because there'd be no shipping available.
Okay, perfect. And a question here about plans and WordPress.com plans. I've already answered one here related to, with the business plan, you need to install WooCommerce like you did on this step. With the e-commerce plan, it's pre-installed. But they want to know, and the e-commerce plan obviously has the premium extensions too, the shipping and payment gateways. If they get the business plan, is there a way to add these other premium extensions later? Can they buy them, a la carte if they want, for example?
Absolutely, and that's going back to the WooCommerce.com. And so if we go, let's see, can I get back to the main page here? So if you're on WooCommerce.com and maybe you want the subscriptions plugin, you've decided that, oh, subscriptions is the one you want. The easiest way that I find is just using the little search bar there and type in subscriptions. And then once you're there, you can see it's got different documentation and different things, but then you can buy the WooCommerce subscriptions plugin and then install it on your site. So if you started with the business plan and not the e-commerce plan, you do have the ability to add these premium extensions. And we don't, I mean, you could build all of this stuff into WooCommerce, but a lot of stores don't need subscriptions. A lot of stores don't ship with UPS. So that's why we've made them additional extensions to add only the features that you need to your store.
Okay, perfect. And one other question here, are there professionals that can help us? So maybe someone, you know, with their plan, they get the support, but are there other professionals, you know, a customization, for example?
Sure. We don't have any professionals per se. Like our live chat is available all the time, 24 hours a day, and we will help you, like guide you in the right direction, whether that be like answering questions or, oh, this configuration, like we can log in and look and, oh, this configuration's not quite right. Like if you want to set up your shipping zones, and we will help you walk through the process of setting it up so you understand and learn how it works. But to kind of like wipe your hands clean of it and just say, here, set this up. Like we don't have any services like that. We do have on our WooCommerce customization page, we do have some agencies or some developers that you could get quotes from. And you could also use like Codable. Codable.io is a service that we use a lot to help people just with one-off tasks. Like, oh, I need this little thing developed, or I need this developed. It's probably not a good solution for developing a whole store, but those are some of the recommendation options that we have out there.
Okay, great, Dustin. Thank you so much. We didn't get to all the questions here. There's a ton of them, a lot of WooCommerce questions, so thanks for asking. You know, please take the survey. You'll get your discount code and you can sign up for more sessions. We'll be doing this WooCommerce 101 again next Thursday. I will be hosting that one, so you know, come join me again if you would like. You can also visit wordpress.com/webinars to see the upcoming schedule and any previous ones. And then finally, like Dustin mentioned, how we can, you know, help and guide you and help you set up your site. Once you get your plan, go to wordpress.com/contact and we can help as you work on your website. So thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Cheers.